Dear students, it is a very happy moment for all of us to be connected on a very just nice poem entitled To a Skylark by P.B. Shelley. We know that we are enjoying reading this poem nowadays, and just reading is itself enjoying. This kind of poem is just rare to find and to enjoy, is but a natural consequence. Today, I think that we should just proceed further to consider the stanza number 5, sorry, 6 to 10. These five stanzas are the subject matters for today's discussion, and we are going to find further elaboration of the idea of the poet to a skylark and the way that a skylark is getting happiness. So, I am Dr. Naveen Kumar Jha, Associate Professor in English, is just very much anxious to talk and share the view not only of P.B. Shelley but also the view of the speaker, all that we can make a good assimilation of the poem. So here we have the stanza, all the earth and air with thy voice is loud, as when night is bare from one lonely cloud. The moon rains out her beams, and heaven is overflowed. How just strong imagination is there. How far-reaching imagination is here that the poet is just keeping before us. You know, the whole natural world, just including the earth and the air, is full with the song of a skylark. We can say everywhere we can find that the music of a skylark is resounding. And just no corner of the earth, no corner of the universe is without the sound and music of a skylark. So everywhere it is realized. And we can say that it has a kind of universal appeal that Skylark is making through its sweet song and sweet music. You know, so we find that it is not only in England that the song of Skylark is heard, and the poet is just delighted to listen to that song. We can say just we are in India or any other part, we are in air or in throughout universe, we can find that voice is loud and loud. Loudly it is heard, and especially just when the night is bare, there is a lonely cloud. We find the moon is raining her beams, and heaven is overflowed with the music. So moon is also glad to listen, and heaven too is overflowed with the music. And we find that nature itself is enjoying the very much presence of the sound of just a skylark. Or we can also say that the skylark song is likened to moonlight also. So we find when we are just making a kind of similar comparison, we find one thing is totally lost to another. Either it is moonlight, which is just very much happy to listen, or moonlight and the song of a skylark are just one because they are likened. So we can say that it is simply impossible to make a line of division between the song of a skylark and the moonlight. So it has been likened to moonlight. And now we can say an ethereal image is made here. We find this ethereal image is so broad that we cannot limit it to a particular place and to a particular just a person. Even all natural objects are enjoying that very kind of thing. So all human beings are entitled to enjoy this kind of natural music, which is not just otherwise found. So it is not just a bird. A bird, a skylark, is not possible to just spread the sweetness of music in the universe. It is something more than bird, and it is why its song is felt everywhere. In all corner of the earth, it is felt, and in all space of the universe, it is felt. And it is all because of cosmic power that the bird has. Bird has especially a super existential status, that is just a kind of what you can call a spirit that is felt everywhere, living everywhere. So because it is just more than just a bird, so it pours out this perfect music, not only for the poet but for all the persons of this universe. And we can say the elements of water into the language is to be noticed here. It is watery language that the poet has expressed, because flute, the nature of music is flute. The song remains flute, that it flows to all, animate and inanimate. It is not of solid nature, that it takes a particular shape or just remains standing at one particular point. It is because of fluidity of music that it touches each and every existence living here. So you find that element of water in the language is just very much noticed. In the first stanza, we had burst. In the fourth stanza, we come across melts. And now there is a rains, perhaps reflective of lark's liquid song. And so it is pouring on the very much soul of each existence. It is not confined to the poet. The poet wants to say that you too can perceive the same kind of music of a skylark, because it is for each and every person. The matter of delight is not for one particular person. It is not the entitlement of the poet only that he can feel that kind of influence of music on him. It also goes to you. Now let you be just influenced of that music. Let you listen to that music, because it is just found everywhere, in all nook and corner, we can say, of the universe it is found. And the song is to be perceived, the song is to be known, and song is to be heard. Now it is up to us. Now we are blind to nature. We are actually just blind to see how nature is ready to provide us with delight. It is a real ethereal delight that nature is trying to pour, and it is flowing to us, and so we should have to receive it. And we have stopped receiving the flow of influence of nature. It is why we are in pain, we are in suffering. And so just whether it is the song sung by human being or it is the song sung by Skylark, it remains fluid. That means it goes to each and every person to influence, to act on the mind and heart of the person receiving. So what the art we know not, what is most like thee? From rainbow clouds there flow not drops so bright to see, as from thy presence showers a rain of melody. The same idea is extended here. We can say, really, it is the greatest art that a skylark only knows. Just a poet does not know that kind of art that it can just flow to each heart, each mind, to make each person happy. It is really a unique and strange art that is learned by Skylark only. Now, after all, what is the situation that has made him sing such a melodious song, and the poet feels that he cannot, or no human being can? What is the most like thee? Can you find any comparison of the song, of the art that Skylark is singing? No, no, perhaps not. The poet does not find any match or any similarity of the just extent of music that Skylark is spreading through its music and through its song. So, we can say that from rainbow clouds there flow no drops so bright to see. It is just the drops from rainbow which are falling, and we can say that it is not as just beautiful as is the presence of the melody of the song. We can realize the drops falling from the rainbow clouds. Yes, it is also a unique natural scene that poet has imagined. The poet imagines that really it is a very just fortunate occasion when we can see that from rainbow cloud just drops are falling. But when we compare the melody of a Skylark song, we find no, 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 no. It is far greater in influence than the scene that the poet has mentioned here. So we can say there is the presence of water, the presence of water in the sense presence of music everywhere, and the drops from the rainbow clouds are compared to the notes of the Skylark song, but the rainbow clouds cannot compete. We can say that it is just to show the extent of beauty or the influence of the song of the Skylark that poet has written such a brilliant line that we are just really blessed to see the drops from the rainbow. But we can say, oh, all the just scenes are just less effective, less attractive, less charming than the music that we listen from Skylark. All the time the speaker is addressing the bird itself using thy, that is Skylark, Skylark, and Skylark. And so the poet is not satisfied with the comparison that he is making. He is making one comparison after another to just make the effect of the greatness of music that is sung by Skylark. He is trying to make all the nature to be compared with the song of Skylark. Even those natural objects are not going to equal in its influence, in its charm, to the influence of music. So, like a poet, he is just making another comparison. And so, he is trying to make one comparison after another because he is not happy to say, oh, now this is the final comparison that he has got to match the beauty of Skylark song. So we find, yeah, this is the drop from Skylark rainbow that is very much just nice to observe. But no, the poet says no, it is not enough. It is not enough to compare the song and melody of the song of Skylark. So he is going just to make comparison after comparison. Now here this time, like a poet hidden in the light of thought, singing hymns unbidden till the world is wrought, to sympathy with the hopes and fears it he did not. So we have just two words here, unbidden, without having been just commanded or invited or wrought, worked into a shape by artistry or just effort carefully. Now we find that yes, the poet is the great person. We remember that the poet is writing, composing hymns, and those hymns are sung also. Poet always lives in the light of thought, and therefrom just the poet is bringing beautiful lines. Poet is just trying to make beautiful music and hymns for the person to sing. P.B. Shelley is also just one of the greatest poets of English literature, who has been writing so many beautiful songs for human civilization to enjoy with. So, it is very much duty and it is very much a responsibility of the poet to sing hymns. And we find, yes, it is just to make hopes alive. Now, it is here that we live, and it is here that the fears are also very much to be relieved. The poet has sympathy for the people that we are all full with fears. So, just to live, we need to have the hopes against the fear. And we can say the poet is just going to heed just the words for sympathy that could create hopes in the fearful mind. But can you believe that he is making that kind of hymn? He is making that kind of songs for the human beings who are fearful, just who are to be just supported, just to develop and create hopes in their minds. And they need sympathy of the poet to listen, to make this kind of song, to make them bold enough to face the challenge of life. So it is just a great heat that poet is making to create this kind of brilliant song for the fearful mind. But you can remember that a skylark is singing more just hopeful songs for the suffering civilization. The hopes that a skylark is spreading is not found in the poem and hymns written by the poet. We can say no. Even poet is not going to make himself equal to just a skylark so far as the creation of the just sympathy is concerned. So the bird being likened to poet hidden metaphorically or turned as a poet in the light of thought. Yes, we can say it is the comparison made, but still you find that that comparison is not an equal comparison. We find that the poet is trying to say that Skylark is as good as a poet who is writing the just and singing the hymns of hopes for the fearful people. But ultimately, he comes to the conclusion that no, even the poet is not able to just compose that just a sweet song as is composed by a skylark. So it rises into the bright sky, but music production by the poet is powerful enough to affect the world, no doubt. The poet has been just able to change the just lots of the suffering people. We can say, especially romantic poets were writing their poems just to let the power reach to the poorest one. It is what democracy is. It is what democratic right is. That it is the song for the poor people who were deprived of their political rights. They were not given their political rights only on wrong basis. So it is all because of romantic thought and revolutionary idea that even the what we can call the poorest one have been able to get that political right. So yeah, really it is a marvelous gift and song and hymn by the poet to the poor people in the world. Yes, it is just very much enjoyable. But we can say that just a song of a skylark is much more better than the song of the poet who is just trying to write hymn on democracy, who is going to write hymns to just relieve the fears from the mind of the poor people and common people. So we can say, like a high-born maiden in a palace tower, soothing her love-laden soul in sacred hour, with music sweet as love, which overflows her bower. So here, just we are once again coming to another sort of symbolic statement, we can say, because just Skylark is just like a high-born maiden, just and just she is living in palace tower. And what is the purpose of that high-born maiden? It is just to soothe her love-laden soul. You find that our soul is just lustful for love, and we can say that love has been the search for our soul. We try to make our soul search love and love and love, but ultimately it is what the secret of life is. We find here our happiness lies, but ultimately you find it is just in the music of love that overflows just our imagination, that overflows just our heart and mind. Yes, still we can find that the song of night, just Skylark is better than what just a high-born maiden is just trying to sing to soothe the people, to make the people just full with the secret of love and so on. So we see that it is a maiden, unmarried girl, laden, having or carrying a lot of something, and bore a pleasant, shady place under tree. So here we can just make some points out of this stanza. We once again find that a Skylark is compared to a high-born maiden, that is a young girl of some standing or princess living in a tower. She is sad because of her experience in love. We find that we are genuinely not in the position to find a real love. So we always try to get it, that our heart should be drenched of just what is not found so far. So she sings to console herself, and that is the music is full of love that cannot be contained. And we find that here the music that is all from the heart of the maiden is once again not to be compared with the music of a Skylark. It is still just something that is wanting in the music of maiden. And so coming to the last stanza of today's discussion, we find like a glow on golden in a dell of dew, scattering unbeholden its real hue among the flowers and grass, which screen it from the view. So Delhi is a small vale. We find that here there are certain alliteration, that we find alliteration rule in this stanza, which features a flying insect, the glow orb, which at certain times of year takes to the air and illuminates the undergrowth. Yes, we can sometimes find this kind of orb here, and the song has beautiful effect of light, no doubt. But what do you find? That is this song complete, perfect, as is the song of Skylark? No, no, no. It is what the feeling is, that this song is still wanting, and we find that still we can say that there is no perfection in the song. So whatever comparison has been made so far by the poet, we can say that comparison is just to reach near the melody of a Skylark. But the poet has found that no, he has not been able to make a complete comparison of the melody of a Skylark. He has never been just in the status. It is why he is switching comparison after comparison. Just he is trying to say that, oh, let this comparison be the perfect match with the song of a Skylark. But just in another stanza he finds, no, this is not completely made, and we are not in the just a stage where you can say that he has got the just a complete choice of a Skylark. It never comes. And so a Skylark is the only spirit that is singing the best song, the best hymn, the best music. And we find it, there are certain regions why these things have not been able to match, because the poet is going to explain into the next stanza. So we'll talk about all these kind of things into the next stanza next day. Thank you for watching and listening, and we stop here for today.